On June 3rd, 2023 at 11:15 a.m., Officer C. Babb was dispatched to a house in Tallahassee, Florida, in reference to a missing juvenile, Lori Paige. Andrew Wiley, Lori's 36-year-old father, was the caller. He claimed that he had left for work around 11 p.m. on June 2nd with Lori watching television and came back home at 10 a.m. on June 3rd to find her gone. Andrew told police that it looked like she had taken her backpack and he didn't know what she was wearing. He explained that everything was all right and there was nothing concerning before he left for work. He also couldn't think of any place she might have gone and allowed police to inspect the home. They found no signs of foul play, no signs of forced entry or struggle.
Welcome to Love and Murder, Heartbreak to Homicide. We are Kai's AI co-hosts, bringing you your Florida Man Friday case that Kai wrote. My name is Jessica, joined by Jane and Jensen. Take a seat and take a listen to this episode all the way to the end. If you like our retelling, then go ahead and subscribe on whatever platform you're listening on so you don't miss a case. You can also subscribe on the Patreon for free, patreon.com/loveandmurder. You do get some benefits for being a free subscriber, but if you want bonus episodes, case extras, and to be a voice of the victim, then sign up to one of our bonus tiers. Patreon.com/loveandmurder. Now let's get back to your Florida Man Friday episode.
Officers initially treated this like a runaway case. Lori had run off once before, just a few weeks earlier, and came back the next day. But this time, Lori didn't come back. Andrew was Lori's primary caregiver. The two lived together in a small home on Continental Court in Tallahassee. Andrew worked the overnight shift, usually leaving around 11 p.m. and getting back close to 10 the next morning. Friends say he was quiet, polite, and seemed focused on raising his daughter. Lori was 12 and a 6th grader at Griffin Middle School. Her teachers described her as smart, shy, quiet, and incredibly creative. She enjoyed school and took copious notes in civics and science. She also loved to draw and filled her notebooks with little stories and doodles. Their life seemed pretty routine. Andrew would take Lori to school before work and pick her up afterward. In May, just a few weeks before she disappeared, Lori ran away for one night but came back the next morning. During this time, she'd stayed near an apartment complex pool and her friends brought her food.
She didn't want to miss school, so she left where she'd been hiding. She showed up at school barefoot. Her dad came and got her.
Most of her extended family lived in different states, Florida, Tennessee, and Georgia, leaving Lori and her dad fairly isolated. But behind Lori's quiet personality was a lot of pain. Investigators found that she had struggled with serious depression and carried deep resentment toward both of her parents. She'd been left alone for long periods in both households from a very young age, something multiple people told police. A relative even said Lori felt abandoned by her mother and had talked about hurting herself. There were warning signs. In one session with a social worker, Lori wrote that she was evil, lazy, disrespectful, and hateful, and blamed some of those feelings on her mom. She was described as being fixated on anime and had once been caught viewing sexually explicit anime content. As a toddler, Lori had been in state custody under the Department of Children and Families. She spent most of her early life in Nashville, Tennessee, with her mother Miranda White. During school breaks, she'd visit her father, Andrew Wiley, in Tallahassee. But just before the 2022 to 2023 school year started, Miranda gave up custody, leaving Lori to live full-time with her dad. She now only saw Lori during school breaks and some weekends. Andrew told investigators that her behavior started spiraling after that. The depression got worse. Like I said, Lori had a history of running away, but not just in Florida, in Tennessee as well. At a bus stop, one student remembered her saying she can't take this abuse. Another classmate said Lori told him, quote, "My father beats me for no reason." Andrew admitted to whooping Lori with a belt, but claimed it never happened in public. As for the bruises and cuts students noticed on her face, he said that came from a struggle during a runaway attempt. He claimed they both fell into a concrete culvert while he was trying to stop her. During the investigation into her disappearance, police faced challenges tracing Lori's movements, mainly because she didn't have an online presence. She wasn't on social media at all. Also, even though she did own a cell phone, Lori didn't have it with her when she disappeared. And when investigators looked into her email accounts, it showed no activity after March 7th, 2023. From the beginning, something about Andrew's behavior felt off. Detectives said he did not appear to be sad or concerned. His demeanor remained the same whenever talking about Lori's disappearance. Also, his story started falling apart almost immediately. A February 2024 search of Andrew's car brought forth damning evidence: cleaning fluids capable of removing blood, a cleaning brush, modified upholstery, and carpet cutouts. Using bioluminescent spray, detectives found Lori's blood in the car. In another interview, Andrew told investigators that he couldn't remember anything about the week leading up to reporting Lori missing. He claimed his memory was blank. As investigators pointed out,
people who are telling the truth typically don't have problems retelling it. People who are telling lies really have a hard time keeping all of those straight.
And Andrew's story kept changing. Then came some information: Andrew's background. It turns out this wasn't the first time Andrew had been violent. Records show a past domestic violence incident where he allegedly threw a woman down, punched her in the chest, and strangled her, all in front of her children. The days leading up to Lori's disappearance were especially noteworthy. On May 30th, just 3 days before he reported her missing, Andrew went to Family Dollar and bought bath rugs and a trash can. Investigators said it looked like he was trying to quickly replace something, possibly to clean up a scene. Then on May 31st, he'd bought a Plan B pill. His girlfriend at the time, Simone Robinson, was out of state training with the National Guard. So who was the medication for? Andrew was also being treated for an STD around this time, but wouldn't let doctors examine him. Then, detectives found a phone at Andrew's house. A search of the phone revealed that around noon on June 1st, Andrew's phone started showing searches that raised red flags. At 12:01 p.m., he was looking up spots in Alabama and Georgia. By 12:17, he searched for, quote, bad neighborhood Tallahassee, Florida, and Apalachicola National Forest dead body. Then came, quote, where do police look to find missing kids? He clicked through to read the results. At 4:34 a.m., the day before he reported Lori missing, Andrew drove from his house to Thomas County, Georgia. His phone tracked his every move. At 7:01 a.m., the phone pinged in a field off Mitchell Road. Later that day at 3:30 p.m., Andrew bought a one-way ticket from Jacksonville to Puerto Rico. He drove all the way to Jacksonville by 6:59 p.m., but for some reason turned around and came right back to Tallahassee by 9:45 p.m. The next morning is when he reported Lori missing at 11:15 a.m. Then, on June 7th, he tried to get a refund for the flight, but it was denied. Investigators also found that he didn't even have a passport until August, months after Lori was gone, and had never travelled internationally before. Police were finally able to see what Andrew was doing while his child was missing. The more detectives dug, the more none of it pointed to Lori running away. Now, investigators believed that Andrew had killed Lori on June 1st. With this in mind, police paid more attention to Andrew's phone records. They noticed that his phone logged a specific location in a remote brush-covered area off of Mitchell Road in Thomas County, Georgia, known locally as Merrily Plantation. They decided to check out this location with the help of the FBI, community volunteers, and Lori's family. Detectives pursued hundreds of leads across multiple states and continued to examine digital evidence. Through multiple searches, police couldn't find anything. That is, until April 5, 2025, when the Georgia wildlife officials found Lori's remains. After a routine burn cleared heavy brush in the area, detectives came back for another search. This time they found human remains, and this was within 100 feet of the location logged by Andrew's cell phone. On April 11th, the Florida Department of Law Enforcement confirmed that the skeletal remains were those of Lori Paige. This officially closed the chapter on Lori's disappearance and reclassified the case as a homicide. State Attorney Jack Campbell said,
"The biggest evidence in the case was his phone leading us to this plantation where her body was eventually found, which really doesn't make any sense that he would be there at that time, in that area, other than him disposing of her body."
Chief Lawrence Revel said,
"There's sadness certainly in proving what we thought to be true. Anytime a 12-year-old is killed, there's great sadness, but there's pride in the work that was done."
He had promised 2 years earlier to find Lori and bring her home. He also said that now detectives had everything they needed to make an arrest, but they decided to wait to ensure a solid conviction. The one thing investigators were searching for was a motive. They went back through all of the evidence and requestioned the purchase of the Plan B. Why did he buy this if his girlfriend was away at the time? Police also took into consideration the situation of the STD doctor's visit.
He would not allow the doctors to examine him, which was unusual, which kind of led us to believe that perhaps he was trying to get medication to treat someone else.
This was all around the same time frame as Lori's disappearance. Then, after months of investigation, Attorney Campbell publicly confirmed what investigators had long suspected.
Evidence indicates Andrew Wiley murdered his daughter after sexually assaulting and possibly getting her pregnant.
It was the first time sexual abuse had been directly named as the motive.
We know that we unfortunately deal every year with sexual abuse where people do impregnate children and even their own children. If he had gotten her pregnant, if he had given her a venereal disease, those would be hard things to explain. This seems to be much more a horrific sex crime and a resulting murder that was necessitated by that sexual abuse.
On Friday, April 11th, 2025, Andrew was arrested and charged with second-degree murder. The next day, Andrew appeared before a judge and was denied bond. Judge Anthony Miller also granted the state attorney's request to prohibit him from having contact with several family members. Andrew said he was innocent. Attorney Campbell said that considering the circumstances, prosecutors decided against pursuing capital punishment. He explained there wasn't enough evidence of premeditation to pursue the death penalty. It's still unclear whether Andrew planned Lori's murder after realizing he couldn't cover up the sexual abuse, or if something happened in the moment, turning it into more of a crime of passion. Despite this, Andrew's brother, Antoine Wiley, said he planned to fight the charges. Antoine claimed that Andrew had witnesses who would say they saw Lori alive after the date police believe she died. But Margaret Summers, one of Lori's teachers, wasn't buying it.
I've tried to think of how else his pin could be in the exact place of her bones, and I have not been able to come up with one.
However, a twist in the case. On the evening of Thursday, June 19th, 2025, Andrew died while in custody at the Leon County Detention Facility. According to the Leon County Sheriff's Office, Andrew had a, quote, medical emergency, was treated in the jail's medical unit, and was pronounced dead at 5:36 p.m. The following day, a preliminary autopsy revealed that he died of a pulmonary embolism, a blood clot that blocks an artery in the lungs. Antoine said that Andrew didn't have any known chronic conditions, and while some people questioned the timing of his death, Attorney Campbell said there was no evidence it was anything other than natural. Andrew's death wasn't the first, or even the second, at the Leon County Detention Facility this year. He was the third inmate to die there in 2025 and the 8th in just 2 years. Local activists are now pushing for independent investigations into how the jail handles inmate medical care. The sheriff's office insists every death has been thoroughly investigated and that the facility is up to standard. Still, Andrew's death has brought renewed attention to how inmates are treated behind bars, and added another layer of questions to an already devastating case. And now there won't be a trial for Lori's alleged killer. No verdict, no sentencing, just the ending of a case that never had a chance to fully unfold in court. Margaret called it
a dark ending to a dark, twisted tale that's had multiple shocking revelations. This is just the last one.
While she felt justice has been done, she admitted Andrew's death leaves a lot of unanswered questions. And Antoine said that Andrew, quote, maintained his innocence until death.
The Lori Paige case is a reminder of how predators often hide in plain sight, sometimes within the very family structures meant to protect vulnerable children.
What did you think of this case? Do you think Andrew was innocent or guilty? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. These stories aren't easy, but they're necessary. If this episode moved you, please take a moment to learn more about child abuse prevention or share this case so more people understand what's happening behind closed doors.
If you suspect child abuse, call the Child Help National Child Abuse Hotline at 1-800-4A-CHILD or 1-800-422-4453 or go to childhelp.org. All calls are toll-free and confidential. The hotline is available 24/7 in more than 170 languages.
And join the Lem Fam at patreon.com/loveandmurder for bonus content and to help keep these stories alive. Thanks for listening. Thanks for your time, and we'll see you in the next case.